Hi everyone, welcome to another Cosmic Crone conversation with me, Marie.
And me, Tina.
Today, Ley Lines.
Yeah.
Cue music. Okay, T, tell us.
I think this goes on from what we was chatting about last week.
Yeah.
Which was?
Can't remember now. I really can't remember.
Portals.
Oh, right, yeah.
Not portholes, portals. Portals, yeah. I think it sort of merges in because it's about energy. Ley lines are an imaginary line running between certain structures.
Or landmarks.
Yeah.
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 Things like that.
Yeah. You did a bit of history on it, didn't you?
Just that people who don't know, and a lot of people who do, you're going to get repeated, but there was a guy called Alfred Watkins in 1921. He did a book that was called The Old Straight Track.
Yeah.
And then the book was ignored. It wasn't a bestseller or anything because it was just basically saying, well, there's point A, point B, and there's a straight line.
Yeah, what he was saying was not really anything spiritual. It was just about
coincidences.
Using, he was saying that, like over history, traders had made trading routes between certain things. But some of the lines, obviously it's a straight line, it was over hills and mountains, and it was just dismissed because, like, who
they didn't know over, stuff.
Yeah, mountains.
Yeah,
you wouldn't. You would go random.
I say the general public weren't.
But then later on, I think somebody else picked up the idea.
But they'd already, people knew about it already. But you know, like people from the past and all that part, shamanic people and things like that. But like you say, did they pick it up and then like go, hang on, that's between that and they're spiritual? Is that basically what you're saying?
I think, yeah, it's like he had an idea of something, but he didn't know what he was
doing.
Yeah, he didn't know what he'd discovered, and he was going down the wrong avenue, I think.
Maybe the right one.
Well, maybe he wasn't a spiritual person.
Yeah.
And for him, it didn't connect like that. But obviously in cultures, much older cultures,
yeah,
they're different names, aren't they? And
yeah,
same thing.
Spirit lines for shamanic people, and then they used. They said it was like electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
And then they used their medicine wheel. I don't know really what for. I only know like the facts that happened. Don't know if it was getting healing to somewhere else, maybe sending healing.
Yeah.
Or receiving healing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Basically that was a straight path. Druids, I'm just looking at my notes. Druids called them mystical lines.
Right.
Europeans, and I got this from some fact-finding thing, is Europeans and Welsh people called them dragon lines.
Oh.
That was interesting to me. Yes, obviously, the Welsh dragon.
Yeah.
And things like that. But I thought, well, what's that got to do with European people? And what I found out was that the sky gods flew on dragons between these points.
Oh.
And again, excuse me. Again, why are they going from one point to another though? You know, are they meeting up in one like spiritual frequency energized place to another?
Yeah, it's got to be something to do with the magnetism of the earth. When you said about the Druids, obviously I've got to mention Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Glastonbury is known for its ley lines. In Glastonbury, or within Glastonbury, there are three main points, which would, I suppose, it would form a triangle.
Look it
the
up.
Glastonbury tour.
Look it up.
Their Abbey, Glastonbury Abbey,
Right.
and the Chalice Well. So that is 3 main places.
Sounds like it should be a triangle
spiritual.
then.
Yes, 3 places, and obviously it is a magical place anyway, Glastonbury, because it's known for King Arthur and Avalon. So there's a
Brian Ferro.
no, there's a lot of mystical legends and stories about Glastonbury. And
Please look that up. We're just giving you information.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something we could go into.
If you can visit back Glastonbury, do, because it is a magical place. And they say that Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the planet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, that could be, ley lines could point to, they're imaginary lines, but they could still point to imaginary or, not physical places.
Yeah. It was like mountain points. I could go into that in a minute.
Yeah.
I've got the mountains. The other one was I found out the Australian Aborigines called them dream lines, and the knowledge was sent to them from the gods.
Oh.
So I think wherever it is a form of communication to another point, or energising from one point to another. Maybe.
If it's literal about energy, it could be the way other beings connect to Earth. If ley lines can go across Earth, then ley lines can go up.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
You've just shot me. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Because I say
down.
I never thought of it.
Because then you would probably get sacred geometry shapes. You could do it.
Now.
You could do instead of them being 2D, you make them 3D.
Right.
And bring them out so that you're actually making sacred geometry shapes.
I'm stunned.
Thought about that.
I'm stunned.
It just coming to me.
Yeah, because I didn't, as usual, know a lot about stuff. I wanted to put some facts down. When I have to write them down is because when it comes to filming, I remember it all, and it goes, and then got some little birds, and then I completely forget. So I'm not going to apologise for it.
So that's just come to me that the Earth itself, it's like Metatron's cube. I don't know if you know that, but the lines itself, because the Earth isn't symmetrical, it's actually more like a slightly oval shape.
I've seen the world in pictures, it's more oval than round. That's what I've seen.
Yeah.
The equator, there's another line.
Well, the Greenwich meridian line. It mostly runs across the sea, the meridian line. So when you stand in Greenwich, if you stand on the line with your legs apart, one foot's in the east, one foot's in the west. But that is just, it's a man-made line. It's like the equator, isn't it? It's just finding a centre.
Yeah.
But the equator makes sense because of it being obviously the poles, the hot and the cold, isn't it? So the equator would be the hottest part of the Earth, I presume, because it's the closest to the sun, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as it goes around. Yeah. So what makes east and west? Line, because it don't matter where you are in the world, that way's east, that way's west, that way's east, isn't it?
And then I wonder what connects you wherever we are.
Yeah.
Are we in the middle of something? Are we in a...
Yeah, because I can understand the northern and southern hemispheres.
Yeah.
Because you do get differences in weather, climates. The further away you go, obviously, because you've got the poles.
Well, these places, these mountains, these structures, these places where people meet, do you think it was part of communication as well, from one place to another?
What type of communication are you talking about? Like spiritual?
Yeah.
Telepathic?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, I was thinking
it could be more energy. Yeah, it could be a connection, a spiritual connection with other entities, or if you want to
Going
call
up.
it deceased. Yeah,
Yeah,
it could be.
yeah. They say it's like a grid, isn't it? That
Yeah, so it
what
could
you're
be like
looking
the
at.
magnetic field of the planet.
Just to me, it's like energy's going from one place to another.
Yeah.
Well, like what did I say about the Druze? Mystical lines, the shaman spirit lines. I think it's about giving and receiving energies. I could be wrong. Remember, get in touch with us if you know a lot more about it than we do.
I mean, when you look at satellites, that could be classed as a man-made, because it's a connection. It can
Ley line, yeah.
beam down like to pinpoint, like we're talking now on our Wi-Fi. It's pinpoint.
Yeah, because it's energy
bouncing.
from one place to another.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You can't see it.
Yeah.
We know it's there, but you can't see it. I'm wondering if animals like migrate using ley lines, if it affects weather.
Or if it's bad. Oh, well, yeah, from one place to another, the birds follow. They do follow routes.
When you look
they
at
do.
Yeah, and the shapes, they do, don't they? The shapes, they fly as well, birds.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Any animals that migrate.
That's a really good point. Because they do follow
a route.
A route.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes them, you could say they're hitchhiking or whatever, you know what I mean, to another place. But they go from one specific place to another specific place. And you always say, oh, the so-and-sos will be flying over soon.
Have you seen salmon? They like all fly. They all swim upstream, don't they? Is it to breed?
I think
they all go the same way against the stream or the river.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think they die or whatever. But they do it.
But what do you mean?
Is that following the lines? Is that in their DNA?
Oh, it's against
specific route. Yeah.
Oh God.
You know, following the same routes. They all do it. Past, present, future.
Yeah.
They all do that.
I think the bird thing. I think the bird things.
Fish in the ocean. We don't know.
And
they go certain places to breed, don't they?
Yeah, because like if you said it was an animal four-legged and they went a certain way, they'll go the route that's the best for them, like away from people and things like that. I don't know if that's anything to do with it. You know, pride of lines going to a certain place. But the bird thing, now that intrigues me. You never know, do you?
And when we was talking about the Bermuda Triangle, obviously it's a triangle, as a portal.
It makes people disappear.
Is that the ley lines? Are they ley lines from that point to point?
Yeah.
And that is like where, energy field.
Is that, you know, you said about Glastonbury.
Glastonbury.
I can't say it. Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if the Bermuda, what did you say that Glastonbury was again? Like,
so that's got three main historical sites.
No, you said it was a site, you know, it was the main place.
Oh, it's a mystical, very mystical, magical.
Well, then Bermuda Triangle is then, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah.
That's another point, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about power? You know, the power of one place connecting in a straight line to something else, then that power's something else. Do you get me? It goes from one place to another.
Yeah, could be like a positive and a negative even.
Yeah, they're coming to get you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pyramids, I mean, there must be ley lines from pyramids.
Well, they reckon that they were conductors, the pyramids, weren't they? Energy conductors and things like that. Oh, yes, Stonehenge. You meant like...
Yeah, well, Stonehenge is sort of near Glastonbury, isn't
That's right.
Yeah,
that's correct. I think people from the past were more in tune than we... stick me mic. We're more in tune than we are. Because I think we've got too many distractions and we can't sort of focus on a particular thing. Some of us can or have the opportunity to do so.
It would be interesting to pinpoint ourselves, like all the mosques in all the villages. There's a mosque in practically every village. I wonder if they're specific where they've put them.
Oh,
or churches, like every church. I wonder if they're specific and make. Well, it's like, I tell you what.
I reckon there is, because I reckon there's places that things are put, structures
in America,
to.
what is it? The Pentagon.
Yeah.
It's a pentagon. It's a pentagram. It's like they don't even hide the name. And that obviously is lines that form the Pentagon.
Mm. Well, go on, you carry on, mate. That's it. I was going to say there's places I reckon.
Culty, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, places where people meet. Oh, I wonder if there's places that people, structures have been built, maybe Masonic or something like that, or culty. Wherever they've been positioned, they've got like their own mystical ley line.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Between themselves.
Yeah.
And they call upon those energies.
That could form like geometric patterns, shapes.
Yeah, it gets a bit darker, doesn't it? I mean, it's one thing standing on a mountain, looking maybe in the distance to another mountain or another piece of the earth, looking in that distance and sending that information, however that is, spiritually or whatever. There's places where they reckon, somebody was saying, are these mountains man-made? Come on, give me a break.
A whole mountain?
Yeah. No. To fit in with the ley lines, I meant. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Right? Apparently, these are connected, like Mount Fuji, Mount Olympus, Notre Dame, Solomon's Temple, Parthenon, Oracle of Delphi, the Vatican, DC Capitol, Aztec Pyramids, Bermuda Triangle, Tesla's lab, nuclear power plants, and military bases and stadiums. So if you're talking about military stadiums and all that, and whoa, hang on, where are we going with this? Have they took some ancient, pure thing and made it into something else, not spiritual?
I mean, when you say all these names, do you mean they're joined up into?
I think that they're on ley lines. You know what I mean? These things are. I think there's so many things that are on ley lines.
But these ley lines.
Well, you mentioned Glastonbury, so I was mentioning the ones that have predominantly come up and connected to other places.
But I wonder what the shape is when they're joined together.
Yeah. I mean, they say it's a grid, but, it could...
A square grid?
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if there's somewhere where there's a triangle that goes across and down the point, and then there's a one that goes across it and the point's at the top.
That's why I think they're magical symbols or geometric shapes and not just grid lines rather than, square lines. I think
that's a modern day take on it.
Because that would bring forth energy anyway. And also it could be transport, like from otherworldly beings, the way they transport in and out if they're energy lines.
Right, yeah. Would they be magnetic fields?
Type of thing, yeah. It could be that, who knows, it could be like they're cloaked because of these energy lines.
Yeah.
That we don't see them. That could be part of the reason. It could be that they're drawing in on the 0 point energy, that they're using the energy of ley lines to come in without using any actual energy.
Oh, you mean it's like a tube, the underground. Do you know what I mean?
It's clean, free energy, and they just use the planet itself.
Hop on.
home in, yeah.
and hop on and go to different places.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it just makes me think that
Yeah.
when you say that. I mean, it's magnetism between these points as well.
Yeah.
I think it's all about. I just come up with something. It's like energy in general, and there's so many. I think there's so many other places that haven't been discovered yet. Because people go from famous place to famous place.
No one's ever. I don't think anyone's thought about it here.
Wasn't there something about
'Cause
Atlantis or something?
We've got a lot of mountaintop castles.
Yeah,
There's a lot of mountaintop castles here.
that's it.
So-
And where I come from in the Midlands in the UK, we've got peaks like the Brecon Beacons, the Waisley, the Lickey Hills, and on there, hang on, and sometimes they do a bonfire, the beacons across. It's a signal, you know. I haven't thought about
The
that
thing
before.
is, as well, with mountains, over thousands of years, the landscape changes. It's not always the same, is it?
No. But and
So
structures.
they would change.
Yeah, and structures.
Yeah,
Things go into the sea
yeah.
and they're no longer there.
Mm.
I don't really. I just keep coming up with the fact that they're energising each other. I think it's communication. I think it's a good travel.
Yeah.
I think that when you said about going up,
Travel or like astral travel.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
And going down.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a grid,
3D.
it's going like that, isn't it? And like that.
Like, just thinking it's only 2D is stupid, really.
Yeah.
Because we're in a 3D world, aren't we?
I mean, you know, thanks for staying with us, listening and watching us, you know, on this subject, because it's just, it's so, it's intriguing. Because I'd love to know if anybody else knows a lot more than we do, has any experiences of being someplace where it's supposed to be, the frequencies, ley lines.
Because that German lady we spoke to, our friend, when we was talking about portals last week, she said about this young boy, and he's like, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, and he's talking about ley lines. Very strange for a young boy to be talking about something like that.
Do you know?
Sorry, sound a lot across the sea here to Turkey.
Yeah.
From North Cyprus to Turkey. Very strange.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
I can imagine it, but then there could be one to
historical sites.
What's next to Turkey? Syria. There's probably ones to Syria. Can't say
Göbekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's probably one there. But where does a young child, unless an elder? Yeah. Please subscribe, and if you like it, doesn't cost anything. So you can get some more, of our podcasts and have a look at the other ones that we've done.
Yeah.
I mean, today it's been really like. Is there anything with geometry
baffling
and astrology? Ley lines.
Well, I mentioned sacred geometry.
You did,
because they're lines. That's what they are. When people talk about grids or matrix or whatever with ley lines, I see sacred geometry. I don't just see squares. I see shapes.
It's shapes. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a lot more information out there about where places are, natural places like mountains and quarries, whatever, to temples that were built that are in a straight line with something else that leads to something else that leads to something else. Do you know what I mean? I bet you there's some fantastic patterns. And maybe those patterns mean something.
Maybe
as well as being ley lines. You know what I mean? From one place to another.
Yeah.
It could be that is a a very spiritual thing. I wonder if there's any, when we use the runes,
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anything linked to that. Because there's a lot of straight,
The reason they did straight lines because it was easier to carve straight lines in stone.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just a
easier.
thought. We're just shooting the breeze.
Randy lines came later on.
But maybe, I wonder that's something for us to, I mean, you could say to us screaming at the screen, or you can hear us on Spotify and other podcast platforms, and, you might be going, oh, for God's sake, you know what I mean? You might not be talking like that, but, it's this. Well, get in touch. I keep saying it, because we would love to learn from anybody out there who has a subject that us cosmic crones can have a little bite of, have a bit of meat, but you join in as well. We'd really welcome your input. So that's our thing on what's it?
Ley Lines.
Ley Lines. But if you have any, what's the word? Pictures or anything that you've done regarding ley lines.
Yeah, send them to us.
Yeah, I mean, we can, communicate,
Through ley lines.
Through ley lines, yeah. Hang on.
Yeah.
It's that way. But when you think about it, yeah, you saying about the mosque, one mosque's there, if you go that way, it goes straight to the other one, doesn't it? The other one at the end. Alvis, please. How dare he when we're talking?
When you going back to the equator, I've actually stood on the equator when I went to Kenya in the national park, and there's obviously a monument or whatever there, and you stand there. If you've got a compass, the compass spins.
Does it go funny? Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. So there it is.
Magnetic.
Yeah. It's a line that it is a magnetic
There's
line.
an energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Magnetic energy. Would you say frequency? Would you?
No, I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't know. No.
I would have thought
has a frequency, but that would mean sound, vibration.
That's true. But when you get like that and you get that resistance.
Yeah.
And the magnet. Ooh.
That is fun. Doing that. Yeah.
Oh God.
Strange.
How long ago was that?
God, 20, 30. I was only 20.
But you've had that
30 years ago.
You've had that intrigue for years, haven't you? You've had that thing about following up stuff about spirituality and things like that. So do you want to draw it to a close today?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So and remember, we do these podcasts. They're out every Wednesday on YouTube, and every Friday on the Buzzsprout platform, which is Spotify, like I said. Sorry.
And if you want us to cover any subjects, cosmic.
Yeah, like we said.
Yeah, please get in touch. Yeah, and give us some ideas on anything.
Yeah, really. I mean, we're just speaking about what we know,
or if you want us to research something, yeah,
and see how you feel about that. Also, if you are listening and watching at this point, we do these podcasts. We started doing it so we could try and get donations for the TRNC.
Animal Rescue Family.
You can donate by going to PayPal.
SOSdogs2017@outlook.com.
Desperately need dog food, as we always do. So, talking in pounds, like if you've got a £5 to spare, it'd be fantastic if you could just send it on over. I know times are hard, but, be very much appreciated. So thank you very much yet again for watching, listening, and we'll see you next time on a Cosmic Crone Conversation. Goodbye from me, Marie.
And goodbye from me, Tina.
See you next time.
Cue outro.